get my social security number that you will never see Gucci Mane or Pooh Shiesty standing next to each other again, on a picture again, never on a song again. That shit'll never happen.
Damn. The streets have been buzzing for weeks about this whole situation, and now we finally got some answers. Gucci Mane just broke his silence on getting robbed by his own artist, Pooh Shiesty. And homie, this response is not what anybody expected. We're talking about deleted posts, money being taken back, and a whole lot of disrespect that's got the hip-hop world shook. But before we get into Gucci's savage response, we gotta break down how we even got to this point. How did a mentor-student relationship turn into one of the most disrespectful betrayals in recent hip-hop history? Stay locked in because this whole situation is way deeper than y'all think, and Gucci's response just made it even more personal. Let's start with the basics, fam. Gucci Mane has been a legend in this game for over 2 decades. This man helped create the whole trap music sound that runs hip-hop today. From his early mixtapes to building 1017 Records into a powerhouse, Gucci's been discovering and developing talent that goes on to dominate the charts. Now, Pooh Shiesty, real name Lontrell Williams, came up in Memphis, a city that's always been known for producing some of the hardest rappers in the game. Before he ever touched the mic professionally, Pooh was already moving different in Memphis streets. His name was ringing bells for all the wrong reasons, but that street credibility would eventually become part of his rap appeal. The young Memphis rapper had that raw, unfiltered energy that reminded people of early Gucci Mane. He wasn't trying to be pretty with his bars. He was telling real stories about real situations. And that authenticity was exactly what caught Gucci's attention. But here's where it gets interesting. Pooh Shiesty wasn't some unknown kid when Gucci found him. He already had a buzz in Memphis, already had people talking about his potential. What he needed was someone with the industry connections and experience to take him to the next level. The story of how Gucci Mane discovered Pooh Shiesty is actually pretty wild. Word is that Gucci first heard about Pooh through street connections. People who knew both the music game and the street game were telling Gucci about this young cat from Memphis who had bars and credibility. When Gucci finally heard Pooh's music, he knew immediately that this was someone special. The raw talent was undeniable, but more than that, Pooh had that authentic street perspective that you can't fake or manufacture. In a game full of industry plants and manufactured personas, Pooh Shiesty was the real deal. The signing process wasn't some long, drawn-out negotiation. When Gucci wants someone on his team, he moves fast. He reached out to Pooh directly, and the conversation was straightforward. Gucci saw the potential, Pooh needed the platform, and 1017 Records needed that Memphis energy. For Pooh, signing with Gucci Mane was like hitting the lottery. He went from being a local Memphis artist to being part of one of the most respected labels in hip-hop. Gucci didn't just sign him, he took him under his wing, gave him access to top producers, and put the full weight of 1017 behind his career. The early days of their relationship seemed perfect. Gucci was the veteran mentor, Pooh was the hungry student, and together they were making music that had the streets and the industry paying attention. Nobody could have predicted how this story would end. But then, life happened. Pooh Shiesty caught a federal case and ended up doing time, which put his career on pause right when it was starting to take off.
Popular rapper arrested. He's accused of shooting a security guard at a South Florida gentleman's club and will remain behind bars.
For most artists, this would have been the end of the story, but Gucci Mane isn't most label owners. Throughout Pooh Shiesty's incarceration, Gucci kept his name alive. He would mention him in interviews, post about him on social media, and make sure people didn't forget about the young Memphis rapper. This kind of loyalty from a label boss is rare in the industry, and it showed how much Gucci believed in Pooh's potential. While Pooh was locked up, the hip-hop landscape kept evolving. New artists emerged, trends changed, and the game moved on. But Gucci made sure that when Pooh came home, he would still have a place in the industry. The anticipation for Pooh Shiesty's release was real. Fans, industry insiders, and fellow artists were all waiting to see what he would do with his second chance. Gucci had kept the door open, but it was up to Pooh to walk through it. When Pooh finally got released, Gucci was one of the first people to welcome him home publicly. The Instagram post was genuine, Gucci expressing how proud he was of his artist and how excited he was to get back to making music together. But something had changed during Pooh's time away. When he came home, instead of immediately reconnecting with Gucci and 1017, Pooh started gravitating toward Memphis connections, specifically toward Yo Gotti and CMG. Now this is where the story gets complicated, because Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane have serious history. We're talking about a beef that goes back years and involves some very personal issues. The beef between Gucci and Gotti isn't just about music. It's about respect, territory, and some very personal violations. The root of their conflict goes back to Gucci's wife, Keisha Kaur. Before she was Mrs. Gucci Mane, Keisha had a relationship with Yo Gotti. This happened while Gucci was incarcerated, and when he found out, it created a rift that never healed. In street culture, certain lines can't be crossed, and messing with someone's woman while they're locked up is definitely one of those lines. So when Pooh Shiesty started showing love to Yo Gotti publicly, it wasn't just about Memphis loyalty. It was about choosing sides in a conflict that had very personal implications for Gucci. Every time Pooh posted about CMG or showed up at Gotti events, it was like a slap in the face to the man who had kept his career alive. The Memphis connection was strong though. Pooh was. From there, his family was there, and Yo Gotti represented hometown success in a way that Gucci, as an Atlanta artist, never could. But loyalty in hip-hop isn't just about geography. It's about who was there for you when you needed the most. Then came the incident that nobody saw coming. Reports started circulating that Pooh Shiesty had actually robbed Gucci Mane. Not just disrespected him or violated their business relationship, but actually took his jewelry and money at gunpoint. According to the streets, this happened during a studio session. The story goes that Pooh and some of his people were in the studio with Gucci when things got heated. Whether it was about money, respect, or the ongoing tension over Pooh's Memphis connections, the situation escalated quickly. The details are still murky, but multiple sources confirm that Gucci was forced to give up his watch and wedding ring. For someone like Gucci Mane, who's been in the streets and the industry for decades, getting robbed by his own artist is the ultimate disrespect. What made it even worse was that this wasn't some random street robbery. This was a calculated move by someone Gucci had trusted, someone he had invested in, someone he had treated like family. The betrayal cut deeper than just the financial loss. The fact that Pooh's people were involved made it clear that this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. This was planned, which means Pooh had been thinking about violating Gucci for a while before he actually did it. For Gucci, this had to feel like the ultimate betrayal. He had kept Pooh's name alive during his incarceration, welcomed him home with open arms, and this was how he was repaid? Now, here's where Gucci showed why he survived in this game for so long. Instead of responding with immediate violence or going on social media with emotional rants, Gucci made calculated moves that spoke louder than any diss track could. First, he quietly deleted the welcome home post for Pooh Shiesty. This might seem small, but in the social media age, removing that public support was a clear message. Gucci was officially distancing himself from Pooh and everything they had built together. But the real power move was financial. Sources close to the situation say that Gucci immediately moved to recoup whatever money he had given Pooh when he came home. Whether this was advance money, jewelry, or other gifts, Gucci made sure to get back what he could. This response was genius because it hit Pooh where it hurt most, his pockets and his reputation. By taking back the money and removing public support, Gucci was essentially saying that their relationship never existed. The beauty of this response is that it was legal and business-focused. Gucci didn't give his enemies any ammunition by responding emotionally or violently. He just cut off the resources and moved on like Pooh never mattered. For someone like Pooh, who was still trying to rebuild his career after prison, losing Gucci's support was devastating. The connections, the resources, the credibility that came with being a 1017 artist, all of that disappeared overnight. What this situation really highlighted was the ongoing tension between Memphis and Atlanta in hip-hop. Both cities have strong musical traditions and proud artists who rep their hometowns hard. For Pooh Shiesty, choosing Memphis over Atlanta wasn't just about geography. It was about authenticity and belonging. In Memphis, he was a hometown hero. In Atlanta, he was just another artist on Gucci's roster. Yo Gotti represented everything Pooh wanted to be, a Memphis legend who had built his own empire without compromising his city's identity. CMG was offering Pooh something that 1017 couldn't, the chance to be the face of Memphis hip-hop. But loyalty in hip-hop is supposed to transcend geography. When someone invests in you, supports you, and keeps your name alive during your darkest moments, that creates a bond that should be stronger than hometown pride. Pooh's decision to side with Memphis over loyalty showed where his priorities were. He chose immediate acceptance and hometown love over the long-term relationship that had actually sustained his career. For Gucci, this had to be particularly painful because he had genuinely believed in Pooh's potential. This wasn't just business. Gucci had seen something special in the young Memphis rapper and had invested emotionally in his success. The hip-hop industry watched this situation unfold with a mixture of shock and understanding. On one hand, robbing your mentor is unforgivable. On the other hand, the pull of hometown loyalty is something every artist understands. Other 1017 artists had to be watching this situation closely, wondering if their own loyalty would be tested. Gucci's response sent a clear message: betray the family and you're cut off completely. Industry veterans who had worked with both Gucci and Pooh were caught in an awkward position. Many of them understood both perspectives, but couldn't publicly support what Pooh had done. The Memphis hip-hop community was divided. Some supported Pooh for choosing the city, while others felt he had handled the situation wrong. You can rep your hometown without disrespecting the people who helped you get there. Atlanta artists predictably sided with Gucci. The city's hip-hop community is tight-knit, and disrespecting one of their legends is disrespecting all of them. The situation also highlighted the ongoing regional dynamics in hip-hop, with different areas having different codes about loyalty, respect, and business. In the end, both artists probably lost something in this situation. Pooh Shiesty lost a powerful mentor and industry connection. Gucci Mane lost an artist he had genuinely believed in and invested time and money developing. For Pooh, the immediate gain of Memphis acceptance might not be worth the long-term cost of burning bridges with one of hip-hop's most influential figures. Gucci's connections run deep in the industry, and having him as an enemy could limit opportunities down the road. For Gucci, this situation was a reminder that loyalty can't be bought or manufactured. You can give someone opportunities, but you can't make them grateful or loyal. The hip-hop community learned that even the strongest mentor-student relationships can be destroyed by conflicting loyalties and poor decisions. Success in this industry requires more than just talent. It requires wisdom, loyalty, and the ability to navigate complex relationships. This situation also showed how personal relationships and business relationships intersect in hip-hop. The beef between Gucci and Yo Gotti over Keisha Kaur created a situation where Pooh had to choose sides, and he chose poorly. At the end of the day, this whole situation comes down to respect and loyalty. Gucci Mane had every right to feel betrayed, and his response was measured and appropriate. He didn't escalate the situation into violence, but he made sure Pooh understood the consequences of his actions. Pooh Shiesty's decision to rob his mentor will follow him for the rest of his career. In an industry built on relationships and reputation, this kind of betrayal doesn't get forgotten or forgiven easily. The real tragedy is that this situation was completely avoidable. Pooh could have maintained his Memphis connections while still respecting his relationship with Gucci. Instead, he chose the most disrespectful path possible. For fans of both artists, this situation is disappointing because it represents wasted potential. The music they could have made together, the success they could have achieved, all of that is gone because of poor decisions and conflicting loyalties. But this is hip-hop, where loyalty is everything and betrayal has consequences. Gucci Mane's response showed why he survived and thrived in this game for so long. He knows how to handle disrespect without destroying himself in the process. The saga continues, but for now, the message is clear. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, because that hand might just take back everything it ever gave.